Imagine standing on the edge of an endless sea. Behind you, the earth shakes with the march of an army determined to destroy you. Ahead of you, nothing but the impossible wall of water, no escape, no hope. But then, a miracle. Or was it? Today we revive one of the most legendary events in human history, the moment Moses split the sea. And we ask the question that has echoed for over 3,000 years. Did it really happen? Or is there another truth hidden beneath the waves? Moses is a central figure in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. But before the legend, there was the man. According to historical tradition, Moses was born in Egypt during a time when the Israelites, a Semitic people, were enslaved by the Egyptian Empire. Fearing the growing population of the Israelites, Pharaoh ordered that all newborn Israelite boys be killed. But Moses survived. Placed in a basket and set afloat on the Nile, he was found by an Egyptian princess and raised in luxury, educated in mathematics, astronomy, royal governance, and priestly ritual. He grew up as Egyptian nobility, not a slave. Yet one moment changed everything. After witnessing the brutal treatment of the Israelites, Moses intervened in violence, fled Egypt to avoid punishment, and spent years in the desert. There, according to the narrative, he encountered the burning bush, a voice commanding him to return to Egypt and free his people. This is the beginning of the story of liberation, a moment that shifts from history into something greater. Moses returned to Egypt and demanded freedom for the Israelites. Pharaoh refused. Then came the plagues, water turning to blood, locusts, darkness, and the death of the firstborn. Historians debate these events. Were they divine miracles or natural disasters interpreted through faith? Volcanic eruptions in the Mediterranean, unusual weather cycles, and ancient epidemic patterns can explain some of these phenomena, but science cannot explain belief, and belief sometimes is stronger than history. What happened next shaped the identity of an entire civilization. The Israelites fled Egypt. Pharaoh changed his mind. His army chased them, and the world remembers what happened next. Scripture describes it powerfully. Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the waters parted. Walls of water on both sides, a corridor of dry land, a passage carved by something beyond the human. But is this the only explanation? That depends on what sea we are talking about. Most people imagine the Red Sea, deep, vast, dramatic, but ancient Hebrew texts use the name Yam Suf, which may translate not as Red Sea, but as Sea of Reeds, a shallower, marshy region in the Nile Delta. Scientists have proposed several possible explanations. 1. Wind set-down effect. Powerful winds pushing water back temporarily, exposing land. This has been demonstrated in modern times in lakes and coastal inlets. 2. A tsunami's retreat phase. If a distant volcanic eruption triggered a massive tsunami, the water would first withdraw before returning in a violent wave. 3. Tidal anomalies. Rare combinations of seasonal tides and wind currents could create temporary crossings. In each of these explanations, the returning water would be sudden and devastating, matching the story of the Egyptian army being overwhelmed. These theories do not disprove the event. They only suggest that the miracle could have manifested through natural forces, interpreted through the eyes of faith. And perhaps that is the point. So did Moses really split the sea? The answer depends on what you believe history is. From a purely archaeological perspective, there are no direct inscriptions in Egypt naming Moses or the Exodus. But absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Egypt did not record defeats. Ancient scribes wrote to honor kings, not admit failure. Meanwhile, the Exodus story shaped Jewish identity, Christian theology, Islamic scripture. Its power lies not in physical proof, but in enduring memory. For over 3 millennia, people have believed this event changed everything. Belief itself is a force that shapes civilization. The splitting of the sea is more than a historical claim. It is a narrative of liberation from oppression, courage in the face of annihilation, trust when there is no reason to trust. The sea represents the impossible, the terror of the unknown, everything that stands between us and freedom. We all have seas in our lives. Sometimes the miracle is not that the sea moves. Sometimes the miracle is that we step forward anyway. Whether the sea parted through divine intervention, rare natural forces, or poetic memory, the story has survived because it speaks to something universal. The moment we stand between fear and hope, between despair and faith, between the world we know and the world we dream of. This is the legacy of Moses, not just the man who may have split the sea, but the man who taught humanity to walk forward, even when the path was invisible. This is Moses, revived. Want to see more historical legends reborn with modern AI? Subscribe and join us as we bring the past back to life. Who should we revive next? Let us know in the comments.